All right, people, what's up, everyone, and welcome to another video. And it's time to talk about all the games I finished in 2022. This is a yearly tradition on the channel where right at the beginning of the next year, I talk about the last year and all the games I finished. Usually it's like the first couple days, but I said, screw it, we're doing the first day, baby. January 1st, 2023, the year of our Lord. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to start this off negative. But I'm going to start off negative. Did not do that great this year. I think my goal was 50 games, which I think I did 1 year. I've done this since 2018. And I want to say like 2019 or 2020. I got either really close to 50 or I did 50. To be fair, though, I did bolster that with a lot of shorter games, which is fine. I think that's a good thing to do, especially if you're playing older games. A lot of those older games, obviously, are really quick. Did not do that this year. I did finish a few really short games. As you can see, the first one I finished, actually a few of them were short games. I bit off way too much, way more than I could chew, man. I tried to play all these really long games. Every game that comes out nowadays is fucking like 90 to 2,000 hours long. And I just bit off way more than I could chew. So before we get to what I finished, I'm not going to say how many games I beat. Let's just say it's nowhere near 50. Yeah, I guess I could say I think it was 22. I beat 22 games, which is not terrible, but especially since this year was also the return of Overwatch in my life. So for a good chunk of my free time, I play a lot of Overwatch too. But yeah, so I didn't do amazing. So before we get to that, I do want to real quick do something new. I want to show just a list of games that I either got really close to finishing or I'm going to finish very, very soon. These are games that I either started last year or I continued from the year prior, so 2021, just never finished them. So let's just real quick, here, let me make it so that you can see this list. It's a very short list, so let's just do this real quick. All right, so there's only, what, 7 games here? 7 games that I'm planning on finishing finally this year. Okay, first of all is The Last of Us Part 1. I'm literally at the last 2 hours. Just never got around to finishing it. Too many games started coming out in like the end of September and beginning of October that I just kind of dropped off, and I never really ran back to play it because I already know how it ends, obviously. So it's not one of those things where I'm like, eh. But I do want to finish it. I'm like the last 2 hours of the game. I know because I've beat it a few times, but it's a good remake, so I'll give it that. By the way, if you hear a noise in the background, I have my dryer on and it makes a noise. Yeah, it's noticeable, but it shouldn't be too bad. Anyway, next is Danganronpa 3 V3, which I'm actually currently playing again. I'm playing it on my Nintendo Switch Lite right here. It's on charge right now. I just started that back up, which is probably not a good idea considering I'm playing like 2 other really long ass games, but I've been really clamoring to finish it up because I love Danganronpa 1 and 2. And I'm a little over halfway through at this point, so I really need to finish it up because I love the first 2 games. I remember getting addicted to both of them. I remember just buying or renting from Gamefly Danganronpa 1 and loving it to death. I just bought it. I remember buying it and then immediately, I actually got Danganronpa V2 as a review copy, so shout outs. But I've also bought that later. Have all of them on Vita. Bought it when it originally came out on Vita, Danganronpa 3. Just never got around to playing it. And then, of course, on Switch, it just got re-released. So I was like, screw it, let me buy it. And yeah, I'm loving it so far. I think it's fantastic. So it's so good. I love the Danganronpa games are amazing. Anyway, so next is Persona 5 Royal. I'm about 15 to 20 hours in right now. I will definitely finish it this year. That's the furthest I've ever gotten in Persona 5 Royal. Just took a break from it right now because I want to get some 2022 games done. Still want to finish God of War. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, so Persona 5 Royal will get finished this year. Trek to Yomi, that's a quick little game. I literally stopped playing it after, I would say, probably 80% of the game was finished. I need to go back and finish it. It'll be a quick, like, hour-long sit-through. I enjoyed it. I like the look of it. On an OLED, it looks great. The story itself is decent. You know, it's a good little story. Gameplay-wise, not great, but hey, for a 4 to 5 hours long game, I would recommend it. Modern Warfare 2019, I did start that about midway through the year because I wanted to finish it up or catch up with it before the second one came out. Never played the second one yet. I should finish the first one before I get to the second one. Yeah, I really enjoyed what I played. So far, it's a really good campaign. I'm really close to the end of it. Like, I'm at... sorry, I'm a little short of breath today. I woke up in a a sorry state. Just whenever I start getting sick, it gets harder to breathe. It doesn't help that I'm a great big fat guy. But yeah, Modern Warfare. I want to say I'm at the last like 3 levels or 3 missions or whatever. So I'm really close to ending it. So I would say probably another hour and a half maybe, and then I'm done with that. Near Replicant version 1.22474. Fuck, I forgot the number. 1.22474. Is it 47 again? 4487139. It's and then dot dot dot. Anyway, I try to remember the version number, but it's hard to remember. Anyway, Nier Replicant obviously is a remake of the original Nier, which a lot of people did not play. I played it back then. You can actually watch I did a review for it back when it first came out. Loved it to death, although it's legit one of my favorite games of all time. And I was very, very excited when they announced this. Especially when they said that it was going to have new content and like a whole new sequence. I was like, yeah, and a whole new side story. I was like, what? Beat it once, to be fair, but that's if you ever play a Nier game or even a Drakengard game, you know you beat it once, you're not done. You have to play it again, especially Nier Automata. That's the most popular game. I'm sure people know that you beat it once, you're not getting the full story at all. You're doing a complete disservice if you just play it once and that's it. So same thing when Nier Replicant. I finished it once, you're not getting the full story at all. You're not even getting all of the character, like besides the full story, you're not even getting enough from the characters your first playthrough. If you play Nier Replicant or even Nier Automata the first one time and that's it, you will not understand why people love it. Straight up, you will not. You have to play it over and over again. I know it sounds annoying, but you'll appreciate it in the long run. Anyway, finished it the first time, got about halfway through the second time, and it is great. I love Nier. I love all the characters. Some of my favorite characters of all time are in the original Nier, and I love it. I love Nier. It's near and dear to my heart. So I need to finish it this year, even though besides the new stuff, I already know how it ends. That's one thing. I never really wanted to finish it. Every time I thought about it this year, I was like, I don't want to be depressed. So I just, because almost everything about Nier is depressing. But it's a good kind of depressing. You feel depressed because you love the characters and you don't want to see bad things happen or whatnot. And then sometimes bad things happen. So anyway, God of War Ragnarok. Of course, I'm finishing that probably this month. Love what I played so far. I'm about, I would say like, I think 16, 17 hours in. So I'm like maybe halfway through. I'm not going to do every side mission. I just have too many games to play, but I'm loving it so far. It's definitely one of the best. I would like to put Elden Ring here, but I don't think I'm good enough. So anyway, there you go. That's not everything, but that's just some games I do want to finish this year that I am already partway through. So maybe you'll see some of those at the beginning of next year when I do my games I finished in 2023. Hopefully it's a longer list than this one. So let's get to it. First is Warriors of Fate, which is a nice little action beat 'em up game. It was part of the Capcom beat 'em up collection, I believe. I think. Anyway, I'm always in the mood for one of these in the beginning of the year. I don't know why. I'm actually in the mood to play one now. I think it's because I'm thinking of beating games, and I'm like, these are short games, and they're also fun, so I always load them up. Yeah, Warriors of Fate was great. I thought it was a really fun beat 'em up action game. It was exactly what I was craving for, like I said, about a year ago, and it's fun. Knights of the Round, better game, I will say, because I did play that, I think, the year prior. But really fun. Good way to start the year as a beat 'em up game. A quick hour to 2 hours long, if even that. It's good. Anyway, so that was the first game I beat. Then, just a couple days later, I finally played Florence, which is a really short game. So I did start off the year with some really short games. This is a great game. It's very short. 45 minutes was probably a little bit too much because I had a lot of idle time. But it really is a game you could probably finish in around 30 minutes, maybe even less. There's not much of a story. I mean, there is a story. There's not much of a game here. It's just a story you're going through, and it's presented in a great way. Really likable characters. There's no real dialogue, but there is. But it's just play it. You can get it for a few bucks. If you have a phone, I think you can get it for like $2 or $3. I would highly recommend it. I played it on Switch, but it's great. It's a great little story, and it has an amazing art style. Love it. So yeah, I thought it was amazing. Next is a game called Antarctica 88, which you might not have heard of this game. It is a game, I believe it's a iPhone game. I think I even said that in here. Yeah, an Android, excuse me. It was an Android game that got ported to Xbox. Me and my friend Gerard played this game. I don't know why. I just bought it because it looks stupid. I think we both saw it on the the Xbox store, and we saw the fucking, this is the logo they pretty much use, and it looks so stupid. And also the title's called Antarctica 88. You would think it was called 88 Antarctica, but no. It is it's like if you watched The Thing and thought that was a good idea, you know, in the, Antarctica, and there's like alien monsters around, and then you're like, you know what, let's make it like kind of like a Resident Evil survival horror game, but then you had like no talent whatsoever to get it done. That's mean to say, because it's not like like an absolute horrible game. On Android, I'm sure it's fine. Like it's, oh, this is actually not too bad on Android. But for Xbox, it is terrible. It is one of the most annoying games we played, or I played, but we played because me and my friend played it. Because there's certain times where it's just like, oh, you just don't have any ammo. It's like it's ridiculous. I don't like it. I didn't like it, but we had a good time shitting on it. At least we didn't enjoy our time playing it, but we enjoyed our time talking shit about it after. So anyway, Antarctica 88, classic game. 3 hours to complete. I haven't been saying 45 minutes, hour and a half. All right, next is Popeye. This one's a little weird because there's no real ending to it. There is. You get to a point where the game just stops playing. It's like a high score game, but you get to a point where you're done. This is legitimately one of the worst games I've ever played. I have seen the face of evil, true evil. I did a Gore Plays for it too, if you want to watch it. Legitimately one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. So there you go. Fucking Popeye. I'm gonna pop my fucking eyes out and fucking put them in a meat grinder. Next is Halo Infinite. Never thought I'd ever see the day where I would say a Halo Infinite or a Halo game was 25 hours long at all. But campaign wise, the story itself obviously doesn't feel finished exactly, but the game itself was great. Some of the best gameplay in the Halo series to me. The multiplayer is great. They just haven't supported it too much. To be fair, though, the last update they did, especially with the custom game browser and Forge mode, is really cool. It should have been there day one, but it's really cool. So hopefully it'll bring people back to Halo Infinite. But what I played, I loved of Halo Infinite. That was great. 9 is probably a little too high. I'd probably give it like around, probably maybe an 8.5 right now. But it's great. It's still a great game. So that was my number 5. Number 6, look at this, man. This is January 14th. Already finished 5 games in the first 2 weeks. That's amazing. Wow. I must have finished the most games ever in my life in 1 year. All right, then we see skip over a month later. This is The Forgotten City, which is actually legitimately one of the best games I played in 2021. If you have not heard of this game, I believe it's on Game Pass. I would highly recommend you play it if you love narrative focused games. This is legitimately one of the best stories of 2021. I'm surprised. I don't think, was he even nominated for narrative at the Game Awards that year? I think it might have been. It definitely didn't win. I don't remember what won that year. What would have won? Cause probably It Takes Two, maybe. No. What would have won? Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy won. I remember. But I think Forgotten City is definitely a better narrative. Honestly, I didn't finish it until after the awards, so I was probably very happy that Guardians won. But Forgotten City, fantastic story, great characters, great mystery. It was a Skyrim mod. This game originally was a Skyrim mod, and then the guys that made it, it was so successful they made it a full game, a full-on game, and it's great. I highly recommend it. It's one of those games where I actually would love to jump back into it in the future when maybe I forget some of the stuff that happens. There's no way I will, because it really is a kind of unforgettable story, because it's so good. The loop centric stuff. I'm trying not to read my own thing. I highly recommend it. So number 6 was Forgotten City. It took about 10 hours. All right, Crossfire X. This is Operation Catalyst. There was 2 campaigns that came with Crossfire X. I only finished the first one because it's fucking terrible. The multiplayer is some of the worst I've ever seen. The story is awful. The gameplay itself is very generic. All the characters suck. The game's length is incredibly short. Everything sucks about it. The lore sucks. Graphically, it looks okay, I guess. I'll give it that. But it's a terrible, terrible game. One of the worst games I played this year. 3 hours to complete, by the way. Wait, did I put that? No, I didn't. Okay, 3 hours to complete. It's a very short campaign. Hylix. Now, this is a game we played for the podcast. All I gotta say is what for this one. It's a weird game. I understand the love for it. It's a weird game. I remember it looks great. It looks awesome. I love the art style of it. But it was a little too cryptic at times. I had to look up a walkthrough. I remember I pretty much had a walkthrough playing while I was playing it, just so I know where to go and what to do. I don't remember much about it. besides it being weird looking, but it was all right. It was very short. I don't even think it took me 3 hours to complete. I think I just put that because I remember the playthrough I was watching was really short, and I think I may have went maybe a little bit longer than that one, and I want to say this playthrough was really short. So anyway, yeah. So next, Aperture Desk Job. I did a full playthrough for this, actually, all 30 minutes of it. It was great. This was a very much a treat. Obviously, it was made for more of the Steam Deck, but I played it on PC, and it was great. Just seeing Cave Johnson again. J.K. Simmons came back. Hell yeah! Freaking Yellow M&M came back. For people that don't know, J.K. Simmons' voice is the Yellow M&M. If you didn't know that, and it's great. It's a great little 30-minute thing. I fucking wish we had more of the Aperture Labs. Just at least that. You know, like, all right, Portal 3, we probably won't get. Just, that's the sadness of life that we have to live. But just more shit like this. Every year have a new mini game that comes out. I would actually be at least happy. But right now I'm sad. I'm fucking upset. Anyway, it was great. Next is Shadow Warrior 3. Actually, one of the most surprising games of this year. Not that I was super surprised, because I really enjoyed the first game. And the second one I didn't play a lot of, but I liked what I played. But I was surprised by how much fucking fun I had with this game. And guess what? It's a short game. I say 7 hours, but that was only because I was really trying to look for, like, collectibles. You could probably finish this game in 5 to 6 hours, honestly. And it is a blast. It is Doom Eternal style gameplay for more of a casual audience. It's still a little challenging, but not super challenging. It's a lot of fun. The only thing I had a problem with was the humor. The humor itself, not really my cup of tea anymore. But hey, it even has, what's his name, ProZD. So he's in there. So if you like ProZD, he plays the character. So just like he did in God of War. Look, it's the year of ProZD in video games. Anyway, Shadow Warrior 3 is great. I really had a good time. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Took me 35 hours to complete this, and I absolutely really liked it. So I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, it was great. I would still say it was great. It was a, you know, it had problems, obviously. Frame rate was obviously a problem. Not as much as it probably is for Scarlet and Violet, which I have yet to play. But it was a great time. It was a unique Pokemon experience. I really enjoyed seeing the Pokemon in the world and sneaking up on them and stuff. And collecting and training, obviously, the perfect. I mean, it's a Pokemon game, so you're still going to get that. But I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time. And the story itself actually wasn't terrible. Usually I don't like Pokemon stories at all. But this one was like, all right, it's fine, whatever. I'm not getting annoyed. Usually I get annoyed because it's so much dialogue. First hour in Arceus, it takes a little long to get to the whatever. But after that, there's cutscenes, but I don't feel like they were ever like a detriment to the game. Like it was with Pokemon Sword, where I fucking swear to God, every 30 minutes, if I'm progressing the story, every 30 minutes there's like a fucking 5 to 10 minute cutscene. And maybe it just felt that way because I really wasn't liking the story at all in Pokemon Sword. That's probably what it was. Where here I was like, it was fine. Anyway, number 12, Ravenous Devils. People might not have heard of this game. This is a, by the way, follow me on Twitter if you want to keep up with everything I finish and stuff, because I obviously keep up with it on here. I have a whole thread. Well, by the way, that's, like, can we just appreciate that in March, in the span of, let's see, hold on, in the span of, I would say a month, so from February 20th to March 10th, I finished, what, 5 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 games. And then, as you can see, March 10th, this is May, not March, because obviously it wouldn't make any sense. Almost 2 months later, I finally finished another game. I'm very, very inconsistent. Anyway, this game's called Ravenous Devils. It is a, imagine Sweeney Todd mixed with a, like, a simulator of like a cooking simulator, or like a shop simulator. You're trying to get your shop to be successful. That's pretty much it. It is you killing people. All right. Top level of this business is a tailor. You bring people in, size them up, and then you kill them, put them in a chute, and then your wife cuts them up and cooks them into meat pies that you sell on the bottom layer of the shop, which is the bakery. Does that sound fucked up to you? It is fucked up, but it's actually kind of fun. The story is very simple. The characters are obviously hateable. But it's a fun little, like, you just go up here, you keep up with what's going on, you put the suits out so people will come in. You can size them, kill them, put them in a chute, get the wife to cook them, make sure everything's ready, put all the meat pies out and stuff. It is a simple game, but it was like $6 and it was fun. I actually had a good time. I really did with this game, which I don't know what that says about me, but I had a good time. It's fucked up. I'm a bad person, but I enjoyed it. So 7.5. Next, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Great game. A great return to form for Kirby, because I feel like his last couple of games before this were fine, but this game was great. I had a really good time. Didn't 100% it. At this point, I'm just too, I don't know. I don't complete games as it is. I cannot 100% complete games. I just need to move on with my life. If I love a game to death, then maybe I will. But I really enjoyed this game. I did not love it to death, but it was great. It was great. And I really enjoyed it. So 8.5, that's the score I would give it. This I gave 7.5. This I gave 8.5. 8.5. I gave it a lot. 8.5. 9s, 7, 3 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I'd probably give this 8.5. 1 out of 10, that's probably too high. Antarctica 88, I give it 3 out of 10. And I think I give 7.5 and 9 for Warriors of Fate. And oh, my jar is done. Good. Because I'm not gonna lie, it was really annoying me. I could hear it way more than you guys can hear it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if that was really annoying. But anyway, so as you can see, some of these games are getting a little longer. So, you know, my free time I spend with some of these longer games, and I still have a couple long games coming up. Anyway, Ghostwire Tokyo, 20 hours to complete. I thought, you know what? I might actually give this an 8 now. I was thinking more and more about it. Hold on, I need to take a sippy. Anyway, so I was thinking about it more and more, and I actually really enjoyed this game. A lot more than I was giving it credit for. Because I gave it 7.5, but I really enjoyed the gameplay. The story itself wasn't amazing, but after I was done, I was thinking more and more about it, especially the ending. The ending was like very somber, wasn't expecting, and actually a little sad. I really enjoyed this game. I would actually probably give it an 8 now. I would actually go higher. Ghostwire Tokyo was one of my most anticipated games this year, so even an 8 is a little disappointing because I thought it looked awesome. But it was a fun game. I think it's very underrated, personally. I think the gameplay itself is fun. The open world is probably not necessary, but I like how weird it was, and the gameplay, again, I thought was fun. Yeah, exactly. See, I said that the same thing. Amazing particle effects were so good. Yeah. I felt this should have been more linear. I do agree with myself. But I think reviewers were even saying that. Like, the open world didn't really, I don't know. It was cool being able to run through the world, but I don't know. Anyway, next, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, one of my favorite games of the year. 3 hours to complete. I actually finished it again after that. So, it's one of those games that you just keep playing over and over again. But the perfect Turtles game, indeed. One of the best games of the year. Easily in my top 5. I don't know where it is in my top 5, but I fucking loved it. It was one of my most anticipated games, and they fucking nailed it. Made me want to watch older Turtles shit that I haven't watched in years because of how good it was. To the point where I even bought that like $200 fucking limited run collector's edition just because I loved it so much. So that's it. That's all I gotta say about this. You should have played it. It's on Game Pass. You have no excuse unless you don't have an Xbox, I guess. And you don't have money, then I guess you have an excuse, but it's great. Next is Electhead. I actually forgot. Wait, I never put how long it took me to beat that game. I actually forgot I played this game. This is a fun little game. It took me, I think, about 2-3 hours to finish. It is a puzzle game where you play as a little robot guy that can throw his head, and his head is electrically charged. There you go. So wherever you throw your head out, you turn it on. So like a platform will move while you don't because your bottom half isn't electrified. It's a really fun little platformer. It took about 2-3 hours to finish. I didn't 100% it. There's a lot of shit you could do to 100% it. A lot of secret areas, but I didn't do that, and it was fun. There's not much of a story really, but it's a fun little game. I recommend it. Of course, Stray, I finished 6 hours to complete. I gave it a glowing review. I think it was great. Looked awesome. Great graphics. Great world. Great story because of how vague it was. You had to really piece it together, which I thought was really cool. And of course, you're a little kitty cat. Do I need to say anything about Stray? You already know. It's great. It's a great game. 8.5. I give it everything 8.5. One of my favorite games of the year, I think very underrated. Live Alive, loved it. Live Alive, Live Alive, Live Alive, whatever you want to call it. I call it Live Alive because I'm cool. I know Live Alive, I guess it makes more sense, but Live Alive, I'm going to call it. 35 hours to complete, which is probably too long. I've heard people finish it in about 20 to 25 hours, but I was grinding the shit out of this game. And I was just like, I don't know what it was. I think I had a lot of idle time too, to be fair. But I don't know what it was, but I was just really having a good time grinding. I didn't need to grind, and I probably shouldn't have, because there's times where I'm like grinding, and then later on the game is like way too fucking easy. Like it was like, whoa. It's like one of the easiest JRPGs I've ever played. But it was because I was grinding a lot. I love grinding in games. I really do. I could just turn my brain off and do that. Just the same way like people could turn their brain off and play like, I don't know, Call of Duty or some shit like that. In a JRPG or just an RPG in general, I could just turn my brain off and grind. Because I just love seeing those stats go up and level up and you get more skills. I don't know. It's just fun. This game is definitely not one you should really grind in, because there's 8 different stories. And wait, is there 8? Yeah, there's 7 or 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. Yeah, 8. Yeah, we'll just leave it out there. 8. But it's great. All the characters are really likable too. Like, there's actually times where I didn't choke up or anything, but I was like, oh no. Some of them were a little too short, I will say, if I have to complain about one thing. Like the cowboy one I really liked, because it's really unique. They all have unique premises behind them too. It's not just JRPG. Like some of them are just like, hey, you just explore the area and make sure you don't get killed by a thing chasing you or whatever. Like kind of like a nemesis system, you know, not from Middle Earth or whatever, the Middle Earth games, but like you know, like Mr. X or something chasing you, and sometimes you're training your pupils, or sometimes you're going around like like a city overworld stuff. Like, there's a bunch of different ones, and like the caveman one's cool because there's no dialogue, so you get the dialogue from like little speech bubbles that pop up over their heads to show like what they're thinking or whatever. It's really cool. But the cowboy one was like way too short. It was a really cool premise, but like I finished that one in like not even an hour. And then other ones took me like 3-4 hours to finish, you know, because I was like grinding. In the cowboy one, you can't grind. That's probably why it took me no time. Really, you could probably get through all these in like 10 hours, maybe a little over 10 hours. All the stories, and then the epilogue, it'll take you a little longer. But it's a great game. I highly recommend it. Really do. Especially, it was $50 when it came out. It looks awesome. Love 2D HD or HD 2D, whatever they call it. I think it's one of the best styles out there. And it was $50, and it's a game that came out like 20-something years ago that never came to America. So you're getting a little piece of culture you didn't even know you could get. So, well, to be fair, there are translations, so you could have played it before, but it's a great remake. Like, from what I've seen, it's a great remake, because I never played the original. Didn't even know it existed until this game got announced, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Anyway, look at this. September and then November. So over 2 months later, I finished another game. Save Room, 2 hours to complete. Great game. If you like item management in Resident Evil, it's a puzzle game, but it takes the puzzle of item management. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Not a great game. I shouldn't have said that, but it's a great game for what it needed to be. Sonic Frontiers, 25 hours to complete, which I never thought I'd see that either. 25 hours, the same length it took me to finish Halo. So yeah, fun game. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a competently made game. The open world was fun to explore. Gameplay had a lot of problems, I will say. It was fun to 100%. This is one of the few games I 100%ed. So I got all the achievements in this game. I had a really good time actually doing that. And yeah, I had a really good time with Sonic Frontiers. I think it was a fun game, and I was very, very happy with it being a fun Sonic game. And maybe actually I really want to go back and finish Sonic Mania, because I don't think I ever did, which I know. I know. Maybe I only finished 21 games, because I don't think I finished our game. No, I did. Okay, yeah, of course, yeah. But anyway, Sonic Frontiers is great. Callisto Protocol. Now, I know you're going to see that rating and go, what the fuck were you smoking? But I had a great time with Callisto Protocol. I had a really good time with this game. Now, I will say, towards the end, it's because at first I was really loving it. I thought the combat was great. Maybe I was just having a really good experience with it. And that might be the case, because I was playing on normal and it was fucking hard as shit, but I never had moments where I was really like overwhelmed with the combat. And I thought the combat was very, very... what's the word I'm looking for? Not meaty. visceral, which is funny because Visceral were makers of Dead Space. But it felt very good. I was having a good time with the combat. I never really had too many problems with the combat itself. I did have a couple problems with like, oh, I have to switch to a different weapon, and it was like really annoying. So I just kept my shotgun out a lot of times until I ran out of ammo. Then I just fucking worry about it later. And that caused some problems, especially with the final boss. The final boss can blow me. I did not enjoy the final boss. But it was a great time. I really liked it. The story itself is very light, but I think the acting is really good from everybody. I feel like this could have had maybe another, like, maybe 30 minutes of story. Just story, like, padded throughout. Like, you know, of some more cutscenes, some more lore explored. Because there's, like, characters that you see in the beginning of the game that don't even show up until the last, like, hour of the game. And they're barely even in the last hour. And it's like, why even get Sam Witwer? He's such a great actor. I love Sam Witwer. Why the fuck? Just so he could... I don't know. It was such a waste. But Josh Duhamel was great. The actress that plays Kimiko, Karen Fukuhara, I think her name's. She's great. I really like what they did, what the start of this franchise. So if there's a sequel, which I hope there is, we'll see. I could see that one being great. I don't know what it'll be called. Something Protocol, maybe. I don't know. Close to Protocol 2. I don't know. I could see that one being much better. You know. And I already enjoyed the first one, so whatever. Anyway, next, and the last game I finished this year was High on Life. This one was another game I don't understand the hate for. I understand the hate for the humor. Totally get it. Even though I did laugh a lot, especially during a lot of the skits that were on the TVs. Like, you could literally in this game just sit there for like a solid hour and watch a bunch of skits on TVs that you'll find throughout the game. And I was having a good time listening to those. Those were fucking ridiculous and stupid, and it's just my type of dumb fucking humor. I will say, though, it does beat you down with its humor while the story is happening, because, like, characters will not shut the fuck up, and it's just, like, they say fuck all the time, and that's supposed to be funny. I get it. But gameplay-wise, I thought it was really fun. I thought the guns were really fun to use. I like the combos of, like, using gun abilities. Like, I like the one gun that is pretty much just a needler from Halo, where you shoot a bunch in and then you shoot a thing and they explode, and it even has like a time bubble thing where they get stuck in the time bubble and they slow down, and if you shoot it enough it'll explode. And I love using my boy oh, now I'm gonna forget his name, the shotgun, voiced by JB Smoove. He has like a saw that he shoots out, and once it hits a bunch of people, it'll come back to you, and you can knock it back towards them, and you can just keep comboing it. I thought it was so fun. I will say, not enough enemy variety, but I had a really good time. Gameplay-wise, I thought it was fun, and there were moments I really enjoyed the character interactions and the humor. And even though sometimes it's annoying, I think this is getting way too much hate. I really do think it gets way too much hate. I don't understand. Some people say it's one of the worst games they've ever played. I'm like, really? That's one of the worst games you ever played? You need to play some legit games. I've played worse Call of Duty games than High on Life. Are you kidding? Jesus. I played worse games earlier that month, I think. No, okay, earlier that year. What was the last bad game I played? Well, I played a lot of good games in a span of time. Shit. I mean, I finished a lot of good games. I'm sure there's a bad game I played that I never finished. Because why the fuck do that? Why waste my time? So anyway, there you go. That is everything I finished. So only 22 games. I mean, I finished some long games this year. Some games that were like 30-some hours, 25 hours, 40 hours, whatever. A lot of shorter games too, obviously. But 20 hours to complete that. 13 hours, 5 hours, 35, 7, I don't know. So I kind of slummed it. But to be fair, I do have a lot of games that I did play a lot of. I just never finished. So that's something. Like, you look at this and go, wow, you kind of slummed it this year, Gore. But I have a lot of games I got very far and I just never finished. So I can't put them here. Like, I already showed you some, but there's probably other games I'm not thinking of in this list. So, I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's it. That's all the games I finished in 2022. And hopefully a bunch of games I will finish in 2023. I'm going to try to at least, this is my goal for the 1 or 2 people still watching towards the end. My goal is at least finish 40 games this year. I'm going to take it 10 down, because usually my goal is 50. I'm going to say 40, because I want to say in 2021 I finished around 30 games. And I want to do better than that at least. And then the year before that, I think I finished around like maybe 50. That might have been the year I did 50. I'm not too sure. I will. I want to play some more shorter games because there's actually a bunch of short games I really want to play this year. And when I mean short games, I don't mean just like 20-minute games. I mean like a couple hours or even like around the 5 to 10 hour mark. You know, there's so many games out there that are just like fucking 30-hour long games. There's some games out there that I really want to play that are shorter, and I really want to play more games this year. So anyway, that's it. And there's a lot of games coming out this year, and a lot of them are gonna be fucking long. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Tell me what you finished in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Until next time. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.